Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a poison apple inspired Halloween look for you guys. Starting out, I'm taking my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer and I'm just putting this all over my skin and getting it nice and prepped for the look we're going to be doing. Next, I took my CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream. This is what I've been using all the time. And I went ahead and did my foundation routine kind of how I normally would. You don't have to do this because it can muddy the white paint a little bit, but I kind of like how it turned out because it looked a little bit more grungy. But if you want to just have a clean white paint look, I don't recommend doing foundation first. So then I went in with my Tarte Shape Tape and I covered up any little blemishes, and then I also covered up the darker parts of my eyes. The parts around the eyes is not really necessary. I just went ahead and did it because, like I said, I was winging this, but I did want to cover the blemishes on my chin and the little one I had on the side of my mouth. And then I just took my beauty blender and I blended it all out. I also put a little bit of concealer under my eyebrows. I went ahead and brought it over into my eyebrows just because I have a few little hairs peeking through because I'm trying to grow out my brows. I then went in with my Modern Renaissance palette and I took the shade Red Ochre because it's that toasted red color I kind of wanted. And I took a blending brush and I just put this all over my eyelid and up into my crease. I wasn't really precise with it because I knew that I was going to be adding even more later, but I just kept adding the Red Ochre shade until I had the exact pigmentation I wanted on it. I hadn't covered my brows yet, so I went in with the iMagic Professional Cosmetics Plasto Wax, and I took a spatula and I just put this all over my brows. And I tried to make them as flat as possible. Next time I'm going to make sure I go up and do upward motions so my brows lay a little bit flatter. But this worked. I took my Tarte Shape Tape and just put it over my brows to cover them up more. I would also recommend going in with an orange color correcting concealer or even an orange eyeshadow just so the darkness of your eyebrows, if you have dark eyebrows like me, doesn't show through as much. I then went back in with the shade Red Ochre from my Modern Renaissance palette and I put it on the inner corners, on the sides of my nose, and then under my eye to give that sunken eye socket look. I then took my ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in white and I outlined my eyes. I didn't make it super precise because this is inspired by the poison apple, so I didn't feel like they had to be super accurate, but this helps a lot when you start putting on the white paint. I also used the white eyeliner to draw out the drips I wanted on my face. I went back in a few times and changed it up a little bit just to make it exactly how I wanted. You'll see I go in on the other side and change it up again because I decided I didn't like it that way. But it's really easy when you use the white pen because all you have to do is blend it out or wipe it away. It just makes things a lot easier on you. See, I use my beauty blender and I just blend it out. And then I just go right back in and draw it again. I went in with the CC Beauty Professional Cosmetics 12 Color Face and Body Paint. And I just got this on Amazon. It actually came with the Plasto Wax I used for my eyebrows. But I just took the white shade and I put it all over my face. I found a better method to go was take the spatula and scoop out directly from the white paint and put it onto my face. And then from there, just blend it out with the brush. It was a lot quicker and I felt like it spread out a lot easier. And then you're just basically putting the white paint inside the lines. I did draw a little skeleton-like nose on my face because if you look at pictures of the poison apple from Snow White, the apple does have a little skeleton-like nose because basically it's a skeleton coming out of the poison on the apple. But yeah, that's what I did. And then you can see I'm just taking more paint with the spatula and spreading it out. This was definitely the most time-consuming part of the whole look. The foundation brush to kind of go down the drips a little bit, but then it wasn't as accurate as I wanted it to be, so I went in with a Real Techniques eyeliner brush and I filled in the rest of the drips using that just because it worked out a lot better. I also took the spatula and dipped it into the white paint, and then from the spatula I would just dip the brush just because it was a lot easier than dipping it directly into the paint. I apologize for it skipping straight to the drips being filled in. My camera stopped recording and for some reason I wasn't paying attention. I was just way too into the zone. But basically this is all I did, what you're seeing here. So then I decided to extend the drips a little bit just to make them look a little more realistic and drip-like because in real life they wouldn't just be perfect little circular bottoms like I made them. So this I felt like added a really cool effect to the look. I used the spatula brush method I had been using, and I took the red shade and I filled in my nose with red because my eyes were already filled in red, and then I thought maybe wherever the poison had already gone over, it was taking some skin off. Also, the nose on the apple is obviously red, so just was going with the flow here. So I changed my mind on this, but I drew a few red dots on my face, maybe where the dripping had already gone over or was peeking through, but I decided I didn't like how it looked after all, so I go in with a makeup wipe and take it off and then put white paint over it. But I thought I'd show you guys just in case somebody did want to do something like this and maybe they can make it look a little bit cooler. Here I am going in with the red ochre shade and filling in my nose to shade it a little bit more and make it match the eyes a little bit better. I just thought this gave it a more bloody effect. I also go in and shade it with a darker shade a little bit more later. And here I am covering up those red dots. See, I went in with a makeup wipe and I'm just covering up with the paint. It was pretty easy to fix. I went in with the black paint and started shading the drips just to make them look more realistic in 3D. I ended up going in with my ColourPop black liner and filling in a little bit more just because it was a little bit easier. In the next clip, I am drawing some U's and W's on my skin to make the drips look a little bit more 3D. I then shade these a little bit more so they look a little bit more realistic. But I drew a few and you'll see I go in and correct them or take them off because I didn't like how some of them looked or they just didn't look realistic enough to me. But you'll see me go in once or twice and change them up. I also attempted to do the black dot thing again, but I didn't like it, so once again I removed it with a makeup wipe and covered up with the white paint. But here I am shading it more, making them look more 3D. Wherever the curves were, I made it darker, and then I tried to take my finger and blend it out a little bit so it looked more shaded. I learned how to do this from watching Desi Perkins Halloween videos, but it definitely helps to give it a more three-dimensional look. Back to the Modern Renaissance palette and took the shade Cypress Umber, and I used this to shade around my eyes and make them look a little bit more hollow. This method is super easy. Then I took a blending brush and a black eyeshadow. Any eyeshadow will do. And whatever the black paint was, I kind of just dragged it down a little bit more to give more of a shadowed, hollow look. And then I also used the black paint and patted it over parts of the white paint so the white didn't look so flat, and gave it a little bit more dimension as well. You can see I'm just dragging it down the skin, and then I go around any of the drips I drew and I kind of blend them out a little tiny bit too. Some of these I had to go in and fix a little, but it just gave it more of that shadow I was looking for. I went in and took my NYX red lip liner. I think this is in the shade Sienna, and I lined up any of the part of my lip that was showing and not being dripped over. And then I went in with my Wet n Wild liquid catsuit lipstick in the shade Video Vixen. It's just a really blood red. I love this color. And then once again, I filled in wherever the drips were not. I then went in with the Meron 3D gel. I warmed this up in some hot water, and I decided to just use my finger and put it directly where I wanted it. If you want to have a more drippy effect, you can just take it straight from the bottle and drip it down your face. Just make sure you test it first because it can be really, really hot. But I decided I liked this better, and then it just gives it a really cool 3D look, and I just loved how this came out. Then I went in with the white paint and the eyeliner brush we had been using, and I just made sure it all blended together perfectly. Then I decided to put on some mascara because why not? I use my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And then after that, I just put on a gray wig, and this was the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this video and you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. I always love new subscribers, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you guys. Bye.